So we've seen my truck get new A-pillars. We've seen my truck get new doors. But what about Micah? What about Micah? He needs something fresh in his Suburban. So today is the day that we're gonna start on his new front doors. But what we're gonna do is something crazy, bro. The 10-inch front door pod from Custom Speaker Pods. This one puts a 10 up top and a 6.5 down bottom. And then you can put that shit in your front doors. Dude, that's crazy. A 10-inch. Now these pods were designed for the Sundown Neo Pros, but we're gonna be putting in some different speakers. We will have to adapt some things, but Micah's gonna have some of the coolest doors with a freaking 10. So you saw my doors, you know, they're doing great. No complaints, no problems. They sound amazing, bro. But Micah needs an upgrade. He is rocking my old dual 6.5 plus 3.5 or 4-inch, I can't remember, front door pods that I had in this truck a long time ago. But it's still hanging on there and it's still not falling off. Look at that. No problem. We got more problems with the Majiggies right here. So Mike is getting a full update and we'll be moving, I guess, tweeters somewhere else. But the 10-inch will be up there. It is a whopper, dude. But let me show you the 10. So the 10 that we're going to be trying out is a pretty unique one. Very exotic. From Hammertech, it is the full range 90 to 16,000 hertz with a 200 watt RMS. And in earlier videos, I had tried the 6.5, but this one is much bigger, the bigger brother. Look at that damn size difference. So yeah, these 10s are a little bit taller than what that pod is recommended for. So we're gonna have to work around some things. So this video might have a couple of steps, but at the end, it's gonna be one heck of a cool install. This speaker also is fully waterproof. I'm trying to get the back shine out of it. Yeah. Really neat set. This one sounded great. I've had these for, shoot, maybe 2018. They still work like they're brand spanking new as far as I know. So for Micah's install, we decided to go with a color match on his door panel. So he went over to Home Depot and found, the closest shade that would go well with his doors, a smoky taupe tape paint and primer. But this will be good to give this pod that color match treatment to match his stock door panels. Now, I do recommend that if you are planning to paint your pods right off the rip, to get the white standard finish. We weren't 100% if we were going to paint it or not, so now it'll just mean that there's a couple extra coats that got to go on. If you had the white standard finish, you could probably get away with 3 coats, but because it's black, we'll probably be doing 5 coats. But that's okay. That's what we had to do for my A-pillars, and they turned out great. So this one will take a bunch of coats, but it's okay. We just keep on going light coats at a time and just letting it dry in between. But man, actually it's doing some pretty good coverage. It's that paint and primer. There you go. First coat already making a good dent. I gotta give major props to that paint. Even on the first coat, that's hella coverage on there. That's definitely that primer paint mixture. Hey, big shout out to Bear. I like it. So surprisingly, that paint did such a good job on the coats that we only needed 3 coats to get to this point right here. Put it back up against the door panel because that shit was just balling. Oh yeah, that's gonna look killer. Whoo! Damn it, boy, that's dope. Huffing all that paint made me want to paint my windshield wiper blades. Oh yeah, so now that they look much better. And on Micah doors, obviously we got his name on the box. Micah's gonna be using the Second Skin Damplifier Pro on the back of his panels and pods. So we'll be doing, it's pretty much the same song and dance as my doors, just different pods, different color. But man, they're already looking sharp. Shoot, bro, I like it. I like it. That Bear paint gets a thumbs up in my book. And my windshield wiper blades look good. How you like that? So check out where we're at now. We've done stripped Micah's front doors down. That's the stock bare metal. Look at that. Not one bit of deadener, but everything will change very, very soon. And then his stock door panel is already here and on the operating table. So we can go ahead and take it all apart and start on the new door pods. We're gonna try to put everything together, and then I think I mentioned that the tins have a little bit of an extra depth that we have to work around, and we're gonna have a one of Micah's 3D printer buddies is gonna make us some cool spacers. So we just got to get everything ready to where we just got to use the spacers and then put the tins in from Hammertech. So here's the 10-inch pod. We done took off the old pod, and now just kind of seeing what needs to be cut out. This one should be good in the 6.5 spot, but then up here we'll just use the Sharpie and trim out all of the rest. There we go. Easy work, bro. Easy work. So another thing on this one is only a couple of the holes line up, but I mean, it doesn't matter because I'd much rather drill fresh ones that have a good, a good connection. No problema. This pod obviously is bigger than the other pod. I mean, it's a damn 10, bro. That's crazy. Hey, but look how good that paint match though. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So there's a little trim. Got the excess plastic off, and now that can go in the trash can. Another piece. So while Micah is getting this pod all put together and installed on the door, I already took out the speakers of his other door panel, and I am starting the Second Skin Damplifier Pro process to get all those panel rattles. Take a hike, bro. Take a hike. And on the doors, Butters is starting the process, putting some Damplifier Pro on the inside sheet of the door. As you see that this truck before Micah bought the Suburban, it had no system in it whatsoever. And so he was kind of lucky in that part that, virgin, don't have any system or any bad wires to deal with. But we need some sound treatment. So this is as far as I'm going to get on this one until we do the pod swap, and then I'll go back and deaden the pod area. Mike is just wrapping up this one, and then we'll swap panels.
We're about done. I got one more.
Oh, one more. There it is, baby. And Butters over here making swift work of this door. So much better than the stock rattle. Eesh. Back doors will be down the line. We want to put the 10-inch pod in here too, but that's for another project. Oh yes, sir. Damplifier Pro on the back, on the inside there. Excellent. Good job, Butters.
Sir.
So this one looks good from the back. I'll just get on putting the detonator just like the other one. Get all that good coverage from the Damplifier Pro, and then we'll go back and use the acoustic foam, the Overkill, put a layer of that on there as well. Look how cool of an upgrade that is, dude. From the double sixes in the tweeter to that whopper of a 10. Dude, that is badass. That is just crazy.
Here's Micah just using the provided hardware at all the attachment points. Pre-drill your holes, put your hardware in, put the nut on the back, and you're good to go. And just make sure not to over tighten your hardware. It's plastic to plastic. As long as it's nice and hand tight, you don't need to go too crazy.
So the driver's side now is all done ski, all buttoned up ski. We just I'm gonna do a little bit extra detonator on the pod itself. And on this one, we got all the detonator, and then on the pod itself too. So all that goodness from Second Skin. That Damplifier Pro really is the good stuff. And then we'll use the acoustic foam that is in a box. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. For those who watched the previous video with the 4/8, that detonator made such a positive impact on the overall. Just, you hear that, man? It's just solid, bro. And no rattles, no nothing. Yeah, I don't get, when I'm playing music at really high volumes, I don't hear nothing but speakers. Nothing but speakers doing their work, and that's all I want to hear. Same thing for the outside. Excellent, bro. American owned, American operated with American products. I love that, bro. So if you need anything from Second Skin, use the coupon code BANGIN over at secondskинaudio.com, and it will give you a 10% discount on any of the products that they make and offer. Letting the detonator hang out in the sun and warm up so it's a little bit more pliable and easy to adhere. Butters get some coverage on the inner door shell. And then Micah's over there starting on that one. As soon as he finished up that pod, he jumped straight on deadener. So we really did finish up the pod portion of the install rather quickly. That was swift, easy, simple, just like any of the other pod installs that we've done. Very easy. The process is pretty much the exact same for any car, unless you have a flangeless pod, then there's just a little bit different. Actually, some of the steps are lessened. Those custom speaker pods make it so easy to add much bigger, much louder speakers in your doors. It's unfair, man. So now I'm back on that original door panel to go back and add some deadener on the pod itself. And I know you guys already know because you follow me on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. But if you need any of the speaker pods from Custom Speaker Pods, you can use the coupon code Bangin' Bros, and it will give you a 10% discount on top of any of the other sales that are going on the website. So, for example, right now it's 10% off all the standard finish pods. Then you can stack the coupon code Bangin' Bros, and it'll give you an additional 10%. So that means that these door pods are starting off at $162. That's a crazy deal, bro. $80 a panel to unleash your vocal game, to unleash the beast, bro. Come on, man. That's affordable if I ever heard it myself. Micah is working on the driver's side over there, continuing the driver's side. Butters is continuing the passenger side. Keep on making that difference, that second skin difference. And then I just got to borrow one of the rollers for him. I done did the pod there, pod on the inside there, pod across the bridge there, everything. So we got down to the bottom of the box. Oh no, the bottom of the box. This is the last sheet of Damplifier Pro. But I wanted to run down, all the coverage from the door panels to the inner and outer door skins of the actual door itself. And this one box has covered all of those things. And it was a 20 sheet box, and that is 33 square feet. So if you're wanting to do something like this in your vehicle on your panels and your doors, I wouldn't get any less than 20 sheets. And if you get a little extra, that's only going to give you some more overhead so that you have a couple extra pieces. And, a sheet laying around doesn't lay around very long whenever I can feel or hear a rattle somewhere. And you're like, I don't know where, but we're going to find it. We're going to find it. We're going to figure it out. But yeah, so that would be 20 sheets at 33 square feet. And that gives you the coverage that we're showing today. And for that 33 square feet, we got that door panel, this door panel, and then Micah is finishing up this door. It's got Damplifier Pro all in it, all in the back, and then we'll go back with the, and then of course, Butters over there got the passenger side. He's putting that last sheet here on the passenger side. But Micah's front doors, man, they are going from 0 to 100 real quick. I like that. So much better, bro. Now to start the process on the Overkill closed cell foam sheets. We'll slap those on, and remember we have the thicker one as well, and that will go up in the door itself, and then we'll put the thinner one on the panels. And for the Overkill foam, how much we used is each of my truck and Micah's truck got 9 square feet. That's one sheet of the thinner Overkill and 9 square feet of the thicker Overkill to get these doors done. So that gives you the information if you wanted to do the foam treatment with Overkill in your doors. So there's this door. This is what, the driver's side door, and then the passenger side door now has all of the Overkill foam on the back too. And then Micah and Butters have put the 3/8 thickness Overkill foam on the back here. So that works out really good. And then we'll take these last 2 sheets of the 1/8 inch and we'll put them right, not literally just like this, but we're gonna put them right there so it is behind where the 10 and the 6.5 play. So we are doing a little test fit on the door, and we're just seeing how far of a spacer that needs to be done. Damn.
Holy.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, so we'll have to, I mean, that's a half inch. That ain't less than a half inch. But it's just that, you know, these pods were made for the Neo Pros. They're not made for these. So we are doing something that is out of warranty, everything like that, to make something cool connect. And this is where we'll have to get a spacer ring done up for it. As you see, the window motor is right there. So it's not like an easy as just chopping it out the bottom sheet metal. It's not like that. This is, you know, it messes with your window track. That's tough. And there goes Butters. He had to head back. Something for his grandma, and we're very family oriented. You got to go to your grandma, your mama needs you. It's all gravy, baby. But he did a great job on this one. Real proud of his work. Real proud. Mike has got that other door up there looking, man, it looks so good though, man. It looks really good. If we didn't have that spacer issue, if we would have just did what the manufacturer said, if we just did what Cousin Speaker Pod said, we wouldn't be in this boat. But how cool is it to have Hammertech, baby? Come on. It's just something you don't ever see. You know, sometimes it's kind of like that, you know, you feel like a big dog when you're walking into somewhere and you got that real expensive Louis Vuitton belt or that Gucci belt. I'm not a very materialistic person, but this is like that. You open up your doors and you got like someone's what the hell's in there, bro? Like you just kind of get that. The exclusivity of running the company is what is driving this project forward, and the exclusivity of the 10-inch door pod. It's not that you can't buy it. You can buy it right now, bro. Use coupon code Bangin' Bros and get that mother right now. But most people go with a 6.5. Most people go with an 8. I am most people. I have 8s. And me and Micah were just, you know, like, man, it'd just be so freaking cool to do the 10 or the 12. And then, man, that 10-inch plus 6.5-inch pod, whoo, man, that thing is bad to the bone, bro. So it just what had to happen. But when it's all said and done, Michael will have some very unique doors that, you know, it's just like having that Louis Vuitton belt, just like having that Gucci belt. It's like, hey, look at me, boy, look at me, boy. You know, so that's kind of, man, that was stupid as hell. But it explains in a rough way of why it's neat to have the exclusivity of the Hammertech and the 10-inch pod. It's something that, you know, you see a Cousin Speaker Pod on something, you know, fairly regularly. I mean, I scroll through Instagram and shoot, bro, their Facebook and their Instagram and their TikTok feed, it is covered in different people who have potted up their front doors, A-pillars, back doors. It is amazing, bro. But you still seeing a lot of those customers they have, you don't see the 10-inch that often. You don't see the 12-inch that often. So that's where we had to step up and was like, man, yeah, we got to do something funky, bro. There's a little bit extra guesswork, but hey, that Louis Vuitton belt, baby, come on now. So like I mentioned in the last video, make sure that your parking brake doesn't intrude on the pods. This one does. You see it's getting real close, you know. So what I'm going to do is I got my hand sawzall, and I'm going to cut this thing just like that. And so it doesn't have this little lip there to hit the pod. So please get you a sawzall that's electric so you're not here all day. But it's just this. Until we trim that spot off. Please, for the love of God, get yourself an electronic sawzall. There it is. All right. That little, it's hot. You put this thing right back on there. Yeah, there you go. It ain't the prettiest thing, but you don't need the whole damn pedal. Oh yeah. That'll be much better. I know you can't see it, but it'll be much better. So there's the finished product, and I used some super glue to glue the rubber thing on there, and that's just a small thing you'll never know. So Micah's doors, at least for today's work, have been all buttoned up. We're still gonna put some of the foam back behind there whenever we get to the speaker, you know, mounting time. But man, it is turning out so nice. Love it, man, love it. Super excited. And in the future, Mike is going to use my old A-pillar pods, and he'll have some A-pillar pods up here too in the future. We just got to make everything one at a time. These things are Whoppers, bro. BK Whoppers. There we go. There we go. Nice and clean. How you like that? So we're back here another day, and we have the key to the lock here. This is the spacer ring that one of Micah's 3D printing buddies printed for him. Cut us a good deal on a pair of these tins, and it will just, let me show you. So then to give us that extra clearance, and obviously I've already painted it, but they were printed in orange and blue and stuff. But that will give us the extra clearance for the back of those motors. It's not ideal, but it'll work and it'll blend fine. And the rings were so big on the guy's 3D printer that he had to print it in 2 different sections. So we had to glue them together. And so this was just getting a little bit extra glue and sitting. I painted them last night. I forgot to record the painting process, but they'll match this is a 6.5 inch thumb cover. Everything will all match very well. So it'll look good. And it just fits right underneath the speaker, nice and tight. What also would have been a pretty cool thing is to have these print out in fully translucent or transparent filament. And then we could have put some LEDs on the inside, and then Micah could have got a bowl cut and, you know, a little pencil mustache, and man, he'd have looked great, bro. Then we start have to call him Taquache Micah. But yeah, these would be cool. This was the whole problem with the mids in those pods, but this will fix it. And the only other thing about those spacers is the hardware to use the threaded inserts. It's not long enough, it won't work. So we're just, as much as we wanted to use the threaded inserts on the 10-inch, it's just not long enough. We would need a much longer bolt than what the kit comes with. So, you know, it is what it is to make everything all work out. But yeah, if you're normally putting a 10-inch in these pods, I would recommend using the threaded inserts, especially if you have the no spacer and no extra issues like that. So if you're using the Neo Pro V4, grab the threaded insert kit from Custom Speaker Pods. That is the way to go. So we just got back from Home Depot. We grabbed some 1.5 inch screws, and the thickness works out just fine. I mean, that's not much to grab, but you only need it to grab about 1/8 of an inch of the plastic. But then we decided, well, let's test out the threaded insert. Let's see if that would actually work. And they work. I mean, the threads do not line up, and you know, they're not the same threads. It's more of a fine thread on the insert, but it holds really well. So like I wanted to use the threaded inserts to begin with. So we're like, hey, let's just try it. And this insert right here, holding on, I was going to show you how strong these inserts are. It's not cracking the plastic. Not cracking the plastic at all. Plastic is strong whenever everything is done right. Yeah. Still bueno. So I guess we're gonna end up using the threaded insert. So that's exciting. Super strong, super tough. Like if you have a big speaker in these pods and you want to make sure the mount is super secure, go with the threaded insert kit off CSP. It is worth it, bro. It is worth it. So here's the first step to those threaded inserts. We're just putting a reference dot, it's tough to see, reference dot in each of the mounting holes, and then we'll go and drill a pilot hole to insert those threaded inserts. Very nice. Now we know exactly where to drill. Nice. Perfect. And then once you drill the pilot holes, you just gotta shove the threaded insert in there. And you can use a bunch of different techniques. We're just forcing that bitch up in there. The kit that comes from Custom Speaker Pods comes with everything you need. I would say to make this easier, if you have a cheap solder gun, that would be easy just to kind of warm up the threaded insert and it'll just melt right up in there. My solder gun broke, so I don't have one, so we're just kind of figuring it out here by hand. And the threaded insert kit does come with enough inserts to do, shoot, I think the website says like 36 speakers, or not 36 speakers, 6 speakers, yeah. So it does come with enough. Of course, some speakers have 4 mounting points like the 6.5, and some speakers have 8 mounting points like the 10. So, you know, you just kind of have to gauge that as you will. And that's what it looks like on the front side and then the back side right there. So it does grip very, very well. And then once the screw goes in there, it just expands the insert and gets a crazy grip on the plastic. And the insert kit works with the exact same hardware as you use to mount the pods. So then your hardware will all be uniform. Now we have to use longer hardware, so ours isn't going to be uniform. But if you were to order the threaded kit, it would all look uniform. We really just want a safe and secure fit so those 10-inch speakers don't have a chance to rattle out or come undone. I know those aren't the largest 10s speakers that they make or anybody makes. There's some heavier ones out there, but when you're using a heavy speaker, it's not a bad idea to consider the threaded insert kit for your system. Especially if you're using like a Sundown Vex, one of those really big speakers, you might want to get the threaded insert kit, and it's not that much more and to do it like this. So here is the 6.5s. That's what it looks like with the threaded inserts. Then the 6.5 pops back in, and we can put the 6.5 thumb cover over the 6.5 speaker. So now this pod is fully equipped with the threaded inserts, and so that will give us a nice strong speaker to pod attachment. And so then the spacer will go on right there, the speaker will go on the spacer, and we'll have plenty of room for the motor to not touch for the speaker's motor, not to touch the window motor. So that's the long one. Yeah, well, that room. Anytime you're drilling any of the plastic, make sure to turn your drill down to a lower setting so it doesn't have all the torque. We don't need to go, you're not going into wood, bro, you're going into plastic. And remember, plastic, it's much different than, you know, sheet metal or wood. So you can turn the torque down on your drill anytime you're screwing into the pods. So now that is the finished product with that spacer ring. It's not, I mean, I would have much rather have not have to use one, but we want to put the Hammertechs in the 10-inch pods, and that's just what you got to do. You can hear those threads not getting along, but once it's up in there, I don't think we're gonna have any issues. I think we'll be good to go. That's a really secure fit. I'm a preacher on the using the sheet metal screws, but those threaded inserts, boop boop, just even better, bro, even better. And now we have plenty of room, as you can see there, for the motor clearance is the same as the 6.5, so we shouldn't have any intrusions on the sheet metal. And I put that last piece of overkill foam right there. That's kind of directly behind the 10 and the 6.5. So there you go. That's the last bit of it. And there's I got another little piece for that side too. That was the very first time using those threaded inserts and like testing it and seeing how strong they do. And although yes, we used the wrong hardware because the threads don't line up, even though we're using the wrong hardware, it's pretty cool, man. I got to give that thing 2 thumbs up. That's pretty sweet. If you're using the right hardware, that is one hell of a hold on your pods. That's like crazy. I'd like to see what would happen if you tested a subwoofer in that thing and just gave it the sauce, man. With those threaded inserts, I think they'd hold up no problem. And just putting up the other side, it's ugly, but when the panel's on, duh, you ain't gonna see it. So there we have it. The 10s are mounted, no problemas. The 6.5s are mounted, no problemas. Everything's nice and secure. The spacers match the pods, and it's looking good. Plenty of room to install. Man, that's intimidating, bro. Connect the lead wires with the butt connectors. And then it should all be wired up to a 2 ohm load on Micah's JP84. I know that's not the proper amount of power for this. It's much low, but that's what he's got, and that's what we're running. And that amp really does put out some great wattage for such a small amplifier. Probably enough for the 6.5 by itself, but then with the 6.5 and the 10, we really need double the power. So maybe a JP234 would have been a better option for this setup, but we weren't expecting this setup whenever he got that amp. We can get a bigger amp down the line and then use that amplifier for tweeters and horns and other things of that nature. It'll be all good. There it is. So the driver's side is all buttoned up, all wired up. We just got to play it. Oh, we should have played it. God damn it. But yeah, no, it looks great. Looks great. Door closes, door opens. That's another big one. Awesome, man. So if you're gonna be doing these 10-inch pods, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend not doing what you see here. We wanted to put Hammertech up in there. Do what the pod is designed for. You need to get the Sundown Neo Pro V4, the threaded inserts, and use the hardware that everything comes with. If you were to do all those things, dude, this would be a breeze. No harder, no more difficult than any other pod install. No extra steps. It would have went on without any problems at all. So I will say that I realized that, and I realized that before, but we wanted to take the challenge and work with the Hammertech stuff because it is cool stuff. It is really cool stuff. But if you're doing this yourself, do it as the pod was intended. And the Neo Pro V4 is an excellent speaker. I would never put that one under the bus. Anything from Sundown is very, very well designed. So that's why it was the speaker that the pod was designed for, because it's a reliably good speaker to put in your system. So it was smart on Brandon's part for designing all that together. That's what it should be. But that's not how everyone's going to want to, do their system. So, this is how you do it with a spacer. You can make it out of wood. You might even be able to get one of those flea market ring lights. You might even be able to do that. But yeah, that's just my honest 2 cents on that. Do the install the way it was intended. Use the Neo Pro V4 with the threaded inserts and put Detner all behind your pod, and you will be happy, bro. You will be so happy. Nothing wrong with it. But like I said earlier in the video, that's that Gucci belt right there. That's that Gucci belt right there. That's that Louis Vuitton, baby. Come on now. Come on now. Well, we just fired them up for the first time, and it sounded really nice. I know that I literally just said to go with the Neo Pro V4, but those 10s sound pretty good. It is worth all the trouble. He has limited power just running off the JP84. I mentioned that too. But with the limited power, damn, the 10s sound very nice. much louder than we expected. And yeah, that's going to be a huge upgrade from what it was before. So I got to give that thumbs up. The Hammertech speaker does sound very, very nice. So we got the doors up, and Micah was just testing to see how it fits on his knee. How's it fit, Micah?
Yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad at all.
Let's go to the other side and check it out. So they do stick out a little bit, but it's not like it's not too crazy. It's not too bad. The pods themselves, they're really low profile. So if it wasn't for that spacer ring and having to make it all fit, then yeah, it would be probably a lot worse if they were designed for a bigger tin. But because they're designed for that Neo Pro V4, it really does come real close to the door panel. That also plays into my opinion, where I think if you want to attempt these 10-inch pods or even the 12-inch pods, please go with the speaker that it's intended for, because then it's just, that's the way they're made, man. That's the comfortable ride from custom speaker pods. It's very much like my 8s in my truck. Very slim line. So they don't stick out very far at all, you know, outside of the door. These newer designed ones stick out much less than the original ones. But yeah, that's the experience of the driver and the passenger, the fitment experience. Noise doesn't intrude on my knee very much. So listen to the sound difference whenever you open the front doors. They had all the sound treatment. Very nice. And then the back doors, it's hollow. Much big of a difference. Hope you can hear the difference, but you can in person like crazy. All right, man. So that's the front door project all buttoned up, at least for now, till we can get some more power to put on those speakers. But it all worked out really well, man. The pods, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. The threaded inserts worked out better than we expected. Yeah, we did kind of, not use the right hardware, but it all connected, and the tins were secure as hell on those pods. The sound deadener did its wonders just like it normally does. I mean, that was to be expected, all the extra hard work. So I got to give props to CSP and props to Second Skin for that. And you can use the coupon code Bangin' Bros over at customspeakerpods.com and get 10% off stacked on top of any other sale that they're doing, and get you the best price on those pods. Any finish, any pod, that discount's available. And also over at Second Skin, you can use the coupon code Bangin', and it will give you a 10% off all the products that they make there. I think that it would be a great addition to a pod setup. If you are putting pods in your front doors, back doors, A-pillars, anything, use some of that sound treatment, and you're already there. So you might as well grab a couple of sheets and just make it better. Make it better. It's just going to work out much better like that. But both pod projects for my doors, for Micah's doors, was a lot of fun. Very easy. It's very simple, with the extra added steps of painting and the sound treatment. We added a lot more work to the workload, but that's what we wanted. We wanted that outcome, and it delivered. It performed. It did well. I love it. Sounded great. So yeah, so great all the way around. Two great American companies that we like installing here. We always have a lot of fun whenever we're messing with custom speaker pods and we're messing with Second Skin. Always have such a great time. But yeah, if you guys need anything, leave it in the comments, or you can reach out to my Facebook, or follow the Instagram, the Facebook groups, the TikTok, subscribe here on YouTube. I just want as many of my bros to hang out with us as possible. So I always get a great kick whenever y'all are hanging out here in the comment section and helping me share. And it's great to have the wonderful feedback. I love it all, man. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the love and support that you guys show Bangin' Bros. We would not do it without all the love. I promise you that. So on to the next one, which I'm not really sure what the next one is, because we didn't tease it in this video, but we'll just find out whenever it gets here. Thank you guys.